everyone, welcome to another chord tutorial video where today I'm going to be teaching you how to play the D major chord. D major is a really important chord, especially in the key of G, so if you're playing songs in the key of G, this is one that you really have to know. And I have a couple different ways that I do this, kind of a couple hacks that make it a little bit easier, so I'm going to teach you that. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to those people out there that are subscribing and watching these videos. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications so that you can keep getting the content that I release as I release it. I appreciate all of you for doing that. You're helping me grow this channel and teach more and more people for a very low cost every single day, which I love. So anyway, let's get to the tutorial. Now, in the key of G, which is like the intermediate second level key that you'll be playing in when you're playing, the D chord is your 5 chord, which is really important, and you're going to have to be playing it a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and put the chord graphic up on the screen right now, and what I want you to notice is that you've got 3 fingers that you have to use for this chord, and all 3 of them have to fit in the same fret, all 3. Now, most chord graphics that you see are going to have them labeled as 1, 2, 3, which is your pointer finger, middle finger, and third finger. For my students in my class, I usually try to label this chord with red dots, but if you take a look at it, you're going to notice that all 3 of these have to sit in the 2nd fret. Now, if you're playing a soprano, which is what I'm playing for these videos, the frets are close together. They're the closest that they're going to be. On concert, your frets are a little bit further apart. Tenor, they're a little bit more far apart. But on a soprano, I have found, and I have really small hands and tiny little fingers, it can be hard to get all 3 fingers in there. So I'm going to try it with a 1, 2, 3. And what you have to do is you have to fit them all in the same fret, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that's what your D chord should sound like. But what I will tell you, and even as someone who's played a lot of ukulele in my life, getting that 1, 2, and 3 down can be really tough. And so what happens is if you slide, I mean, even if my first finger goes slightly above the fret, see how that it's not in tune, it has to be down there on that 2nd fret. So you can play your D chord with the 1, 2, and 3, but if you're struggling and you can't get to that chord quick and have it in tune because you can't fit your 1, 2, and 3 in those 3 spots on the 2nd fret, what you can do, and this is usually what I do on my soprano, instead of 1, 2, and 3, you can use 2, 3, and 4. So you can put your middle finger here, 2nd finger, pinky finger, 4, and now this is a lot easier because the pinky is so small that you can use 2, 3, and 4, and you can get them in there. And you can get to that D chord quicker and keep it in tune so you're not kind of slipping. If you're able to do it with 1, 2, and 3, great, but you're free to try it with 2, 3, and 4, and it works awesome. So we're going to go ahead and do some exercises. Now, I always post some exercise links below the video, so if you want to go ahead and click on that, we're going to take a look at it. And really what I'm going to do is just help you learn how to travel between this chord and other chords, which is what you're going to have to be able to do. So what I did for this one is I did some traveling between the C chord and the D chord, some between A minor and D. We also did F and D. Down towards the bottom, exercise 4 and 5 is where you're going to be doing those G chord changes, going from G to D, going from E minor to D, which is really, really common. So let's go ahead and let's just start, let's start with a C to D switch, and then we'll go ahead and do our G and then our E minor, okay? So let's start easy with C. So you're going to put your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of your A string, and we're going to do 4 C's, and then we're going to do 4 D major chords, okay? And just a quick side note, when you see chords that are written in chord charts, if there's nothing next to it, it's a major chord. So if it just says C, it's C major. If it just says D, it's D major. If it has a little M, that means it's minor. If it's a 7, it'll have a 7 next to it. But if it just says D, just says C, it's a major chord. All right, so let's try 4 C's. Here we go, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4 C's. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's get our fingers in that D major, smush them in there 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go back to C. 3rd finger, C, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to get our 3 fingers smushed in there. Ready? D, 2, 3, 4. that's what your D chord should sound like. If something's not ringing out, if it sounds muddy, chances are you're not pushing down hard enough, or your fingers aren't curved enough and you're playing flat fingered. When you play flat fingered, you get this kind of muddiness to your sound. You want to make sure you're up on the tips of your fingers, and that is what is going to help get that out. Okay, let's go ahead and switch to a G to D switch. This is a little harder, but this is what you're probably going to have to do in a song. So go ahead and put the G chord graphic up there. Take a look at that. Remember, we got 1, 2, and 3. By now, you're probably pretty decent at this. So we're going to do 4 Gs, 4 Ds, back to 4 Gs, and then back to 4 Ds, okay? So let's get into G position. Strum 4 times. 1, 2, ready, strum. G, 2, 3, 4. Now let's get our fingers in position for D. 4 times. D, let's stop and get our fingers in G position. Ready? 4 strums. G, 2, 3, 4. And let's get ourselves in D position. D, 2, 3, 4. Good. The last one we're going to do together is going to be an E minor to D switch. So E minor is our stair steps. 1, 2, 3 here. Okay. All right, so we're going to put E minor graphic up here, and we're going to do 4 E minors, 4 Ds, 4 E minors, and 4 Ds. All right, so here we go. Ready? E minor. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's get our fingers ready for D major. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we go back to E minor. Get set. E minor. 2, 3, 4. Now we go back to D major, D, 2, 3, 4. Good. Now, as we're adding more and more chords, remember that if there's a song that you want to play, you want to look at what that song is, look at the chord chart, and if you don't know how to read a chord chart, you're going to want to watch my How to Read a Chord Chart video that I have linked here as well. So if the song that you want to play goes from G to D, then that's the one you're going to work on the most. And if your song goes from F to D, you're going to want to work on that the most. But you want to get it to where you don't have to have any spaces. Be able to switch quickly. So those exercises are going to help you do that. So use the exercises, find the song that you want to play, and then figure out how to play that first with the chord chart on your own, and then you can move on to doing a play-along video that uses the D chord. So hopefully this was helpful to you. Once again, don't forget to subscribe if you're not, and if you are, I want to thank you so much for doing that. We'll come back with some more chord tutorials here soon. Have a great day and keep on playing.